My name is Bree, in case we haven't practiced with each other yet. And for today's practice, we would need a wall, what you see behind me. And when you like to sit a little bit elevated to lengthen your spine in a cross-legged seat, then please bring a cushion to the practice. Okay, so let's start. We bring the side of our body very close to the wall, and then we swing our feet up towards the wall and work our way a little bit closer, our bum a little bit closer to the wall. So this is a nice supine position whenever you feel that your feet and legs are tired and perhaps a lot of water is in your feet. Then you can bring the legs up to the wall and relax here. So today's practice is dedicated to our lower back, our legs and our feet. So settle in here, try to bring your shoulders on the floor, try to press your lower back in the mat or on your surface below your body, and concentrate on the lifting and the falling of your chest and of your stomach when you inhale and when you exhale. You might want to place one hand on your stomach and the other one on your chest. And when you inhale, your hands lift a little bit and raise. And with the exhale, the hands come a little bit closer towards the floor. Try to have a natural inhale and exhale. And try to relax a little bit your knees on the wall. Don't try to hyperextend them or try too hard to have them up the wall. We take a few more in and exhales. Whatever happened so far in your day, you can let go now. Make your peace with it and take the time now to be with you. Be mindful with yourself and your body. Regain energy for whatever comes next in your day. It is so important that besides the action, what is in your day quite normal nowadays, that we take ourselves time to re-energize, to reboot. Observe a little bit what happens now with having the legs so long uplifted, supported by the wall. Observe what happens in your body now. And on our next exhale, we bring our legs wide. You don't have to overdo it, it's quite early in the practice. So only take them as wide as it feels comfortable for you. You can, or you should have a little bit of a sensation in your inner thighs, so a little bit in the target zone that you feel something, but don't overdo it. And we stay in this wide-legged, supported position for a few breaths. See that your knees are slightly bented, don't overextend your joints. You can let your feet fall outside, or you want to point them, whatever is nice for you. And I welcome you and invite you to come back to your breath. And together we'll do a little bit of a breathwork exercise. We take an inhale together on 4 and an exhale together on 4 counts. So I start to count for the inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. This is called Samariti. You can keep on and count for yourself to 4. Then you hold the breath slightly. You float the breath at the top, and then you count down 4 and you float the breath at the bottom. Keep on doing it in your own count. When you do the breath work, try to relax your forehead. Try to relax your jaw. Let your shoulders sink a little bit deeper on the surface of your mat or the floor. And wherever you are with your breath, you can stop the counting. Bring your hands outside of your thighs and slowly help yourself to bring the legs up to the wall and rest here for one inhale and one exhale. On your next inhale, stretch your feet up to the wall, towards the wall. And on the exhale, you bring your hands on the floor and you let your legs drop on the left side. So you're still on your wall and you have now your body in a twist. Try to bring your hips towards the wall. And move your legs towards the wall. See if both of your shoulders are still on the mat. If not, then only try to bring them a little bit closer towards the mat. Your gaze can come to the other side, to the opposite side of your legs, when your neck allows that. And remember this breathing exercise we just did. Inhale on the count of 4, then let the breath float, and then exhale on the count of 4, and let the breath float. When you feel like it, then come back to this breath pattern. Samavriti, so this breath exercise, what we just did, usually calms your nervous system. And whatever breath pattern you have chosen, either the natural breath or Samariti, see what is different in this twist. Due to the breath, in what area your breath, or what area of the body your breath reaches. On your next inhale, you bring your legs up to the wall again. You can do one leg after the other. And on the exhale, you let the legs slowly fall to the right. I have to shimmy my way a little bit to the side as I touch the wall. And here as well, you can come back to Samariti. Your gaze can go to the left. On every side, you might feel the twist a little bit different. For me, one side is more intense than the other. But this is in everybody, it is different, as our bodies are different. And for every person it is different. One more breath circle in the twist to the right. And on your next inhale, you can move one leg after the other, back to the wall, and bend your knees into your chest. There you can give yourself a nice, generous hug. And even there, come back to your breath. Observe that if your stomach is reaching your thighs, observe how deep you can breathe when you have your legs hugged in. Check your forehead. That it is completely relaxed. And take one big inhale and sigh out through your mouth. One more big inhale. And exhale completely through the mouth. On your next inhale, we seal our lips. And on the exhale, we seal our lips. On the next inhale, we unwind the situation, and on the exhale we come back on our force. So let's have our shoulders over the wrists and the hips over the knees. And inhale, drop your belly, slide your chest slightly forward, lift your gaze, cow pose. Exhale, round your back, push away from the floor, drop your gaze, cat pose. Inhale, come to a nice cow. Exhale, tuck your tailbone under, push away from the floor, cat. One more, inhale. Widen your collarbones, lift your gaze. Exhale, tuck your tailbone under, press away from the floor. On your next inhale, come to a neutral position, and on the exhale, lift slightly your knees from the mat. Stay one inhale. Keep the legs or the toes untucked. Exhale, push away from the mat. One more inhale. And on the exhale, bring the knees back to your mat and walk your hands forward to a puppy pose. Untuck your toes and bring the toes really on the mat. Really press the toes on the mat and work your hands forward. Melt your chest towards the floor. Your hips are still stuck under your knees, over your knees. Under your knees doesn't work. Over your knees. And breathe. On your next inhale, come back to your tabletop position and take one exhale to bring the feet back, untuck them. Inhale, stretch your right arm up high. Exhale, thread the needle behind your left wrist and bring your head on the floor, the shoulder on the floor. And stay in this twist. Really press your feet, the back of the feet in your mat. Press the shoulder in your mat. And when you want to, you can bring the left hand behind your back. Stay there for one generous breath circle. And on your next inhale, bring the left hand on the mat again. And stretch the right hand to the ceiling. And on the exhale, come back. We do this on the other side. Inhale, you stretch the left arm up to the ceiling. You twist to the left side. Exhale, you twist to the right side. Thread the needle behind your right wrist. Your feet are still untucked and they press really into the mat. your hip is over your knees. And when you feel like it, you can bring the right hand behind your back to open a little bit more to the right side. And on your next inhale, you bring the right hand back on the mat. You unwind the situation, you stretch the left hand up to the ceiling and bring the left hand back on the mat. On your exhale, leave the knees, leave the toes untucked and lift your knees from the floor. And now we tuck the feet. Still, we have the knees hovering over the floor, and we untuck the toes. We tuck the toes and we untuck the toes. Keep on breathing and try to move your pelvis as less as you can. Keep it stable. So imagine there is still something standing on your back, what you don't want to spill, but you tuck and untuck your feet. And you slowly bring your knees back. You walk your hand a little bit further forward. Untuck your toes and roll your hips up and back in Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. You push away from the mat with your hands. A long spine. You shine the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Your legs press towards the midline and your heels extend towards the mat. You stay there for one more breath circle. A deep inhale and an exhale. On your next inhale, lift your right leg up high. On the exhale, bring your right leg in between your hands, lower the back knee, and lift with the inhale to Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Really try to tuck your tailbone under, so you might feel a nice stretch in the upper thigh, in your hip flexors. Try to hug the hips together as if you have a wetsuit. You dress your wetsuit and it's a really tight one, and you start to sip the wetsuit up, and it's bringing everything together and hugging everything towards the midline. Stay one more breath here. And on your exhale, you twist to the right. You really hug your left upper arm on your thigh and really lengthen when you inhale and twist when you exhale. One more breath circle. And you come back to the midline and you go for Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. Here try to keep your your knee. Not overextend in the knee, in the front knee. Shine your toes upward. Point them forward. Flex them. Point the foot. Flex the foot. One more pointing and flexing. And on your inhale, you come forward. Lift the back knee and hover over your front thigh. Bring the shoulder blades together. Stay there. Engage your core. And on an exhale, you twist to the right with the lifted leg. Really try to work the back heel back and the crown of your head forward. So you have a long line from the back to the front. And when you hug your left upper arm on the outside of your right leg, of your right thigh, then really try to press away when you exhale and lengthen when you inhale. Stay there for one more breath. And slowly unwind the situation. Come back to our puppy pose. Really stretch forward. Press the back of your feet in the mat. Bring your chest a little bit closer to the mat when you exhale. Inhale, you press with your hands in the mat, and exhale, you release. With the next inhale, you come up back to tabletop and you stretch the right arm up in the sky, and exhale, you twist to the left side. You can now bring your left arm behind your back, or you keep it on the mat, whatever feels better for you. Breathe deeply in and out. And on your next inhale, you press up. You stretch your right arm in towards the ceiling, and exhale, come back. You can imagine, inhale, you stay there. Exhale, you slowly lift your knee. And come back to tabletop. Inhale, you stretch your left arm up to the ceiling. And exhale, bring it behind your right hand. Strike the needle. And when you want to, you can bind your right arm behind your back. Press the back backs of your feet in the floor. Anchor the shoulders, or anchor the left shoulder you lie on. On your next inhale, unwind the situation and stretch the left arm up to the ceiling and come back to your tabletop. Next exhale brings your knees up and you walk the toes again. You tuck them and untuck them without moving the pelvis too much. Really press with your hands away from the floor. Nice. And come back to the mat. Walk your hands a little bit forward and press your hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. We stay there for 2 breaths. Next inhale lifts the left leg up and back. And exhale brings it in between your hands. You lower your back knee down, untuck your back foot and come up for Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Really tuck your hips under. So you have here a nice stretch in the front hip flexor. When you have no tight hip flexor, you might not feel a lot. But for people with tight hip flexors, this is quite a nice stretch. On your exhale, you twist to the left side. Really hug your right upper arm on the outside of your left thigh, of your front thigh. And with every inhale, you stretch your body forward. And with your exhale, you come deeper in your twist. Lengthen with the inhale. And twist with the exhale. One more. And unwind the situation. Come to Adho Hanumanasana. Shift your hip back over your knee. Stretch the front leg. Point the toes up. And with an exhale, point the toes forward. Inhale, point them up. Exhale, point them forward. Yes. Inhale, point them up. Exhale, point them forward. One more round. Inhale, up. Exhale, forward. Shift forward. Move or lift the back leg and hover your upper body over your front thigh. Really hug everything towards the midline. Your gaze is slightly forward. Find your drishti. Your heel moves back. The back heel moves back and pushes back. And the crown of the head pushes forward. And with your next exhale, you start to twist to the left. You keep your back knee lifted. It helps when you hug everything towards the midline, so your legs towards the midline. And here the same systematic applies. When you inhale, you lift your upper body and stretch and lengthen your upper body. When you exhale, you twist a little bit more to the left. And on the next exhale, step back to your tabletop and bring your knees wide, your toes tucked, your toes touch, and come down into a wild child's pose. Wide-legged child's pose. Move your sit bones back to your heels. You can have the hands or arms stretched forward or next to your body, whatever feels nice for you. And on your next inhale, you look up, you move forward. On the exhale, you tuck your toes under, move your hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. You can walk your dog a little bit. Move your feet on the mat. Try to give your metatarsals a nice, it's circles, you know, you circle around your metatarsals. You do first the right leg, then the left one, or whatever feels nice for you. And try to push your heel backwards. Push away with your hands from the mat. Hug the elbows together towards each other. Shine the eyes of the elbows forward. Long spine. And come to stillness. On the next inhale, we look up, bend the knees, exhale, step forward to your mat. Bring the toes together, the heels slightly apart. Sit your hips back and move up in Utkatasana, chair pose. Sit your hips back. Try to send the hip bones back so your weight is a little bit more in your heels and your arms forward. And on your exhale, you twist to the right. Check if the level of the knees are still in one, or if the knees are still in one level. So not that one knee is in front of the other. In case this happens, push it back. We want to have our pelvis leveled. So nice. With the inhale, we really lengthen our upper body. And the exhale, we twist a little bit more. Stay with me for one more breath. And with the inhale, we come back to Utkatasana and slowly move down in a toe stand. Here, really try to come to your toes and shift a little bit forward and backward. I have under my feet a really high soft carpet. So the toe stand is not that easy. See how good you feel. In case you have a similar problem with stability, then either you touch the floor or I have a nice wall in front of me. Really try to shift forward and backward on your toes to give them a nice massage. Come to stillness and slowly we rise back to Utkatasana, chair pose. And on the next exhale, we twist to the left side. Really bring the outside of your right upper arm to the outside of your left thigh. Check your knees again, if they are still one level. And sit your hip bones back, engage your core. And lift on the inhale, exhale, twist. Lengthen on the inhale, and with the exhale we twist. And one more, lengthen, and twist even deeper. On the next inhale, unwind the situation, come back to Utkatasana. Your weight is really back in your heels. Your thighs really pressed together. Your core is engaged. And on the exhale, you slowly come down in your toe stand. Try to balance here. When this is easy for you, you can give it a twist to the right. And you come back to the midline and give it a twist to the left. Help yourself like I do. You can even bring your right arm to the outside of your left thigh. And come back. And on an exhale, sit down. Okay, I think we are warm enough. I hope so. One more thing we do. Try to really tuck your feet under. And when it's available for you to sit back on your heels, when this is too much for your toes, then come a little bit forward. We warm up a little bit our hands. We start to roll it, and I'll explain why. I thought when we stand all day long and try to flick open and close your hands a little bit. This opening and closing the hand is not a lazy one. It's really that you open and close it as if you want to flick water to someone 2 meters away from you, you know? And you really want to give someone a hard time with sprinkling water at him or her. So I thought, we are so much on our feet, and we did a lot to massage our toes, our feet, or relax our legs a little bit, but strengthen it as well. So I thought you can start to untuck your toes again. And I thought, why shouldn't we bring our weight for a few minutes, seconds on our hands? And we did a lot of twists to the right and the left. And what I thought as a peak pose is side crawl. So I explain it, what we'll do and how we'll come into it. And then we only try to exercise it a little bit and see where we land. Okay, so we would come to side crawl from a toe stand, yeah? And really work our, I do it first on the right side, and really work our left arm outside to the right thigh, and then place my hands shoulder width apart on the right side. And then I would move my hip a little bit up and twist slightly and look forward and start to balance on my left elbow. I do it from this side as well, so you can see. I do it now on the other side. I try to, so toe stand. And then you really bring the, in this case, the arm here on the side of the outside of the thigh, and then bring them shoulder width apart next to you, so parallel. This is the line of your legs, and you bring your hands parallel, shoulder width apart, and then you shift forward, shift forward, shift forward. And when you shift forward, you have to bring your hip over your shoulder, or your hip over your elbow. And when you do so, you shift forward, you look forward, and slowly, when you shift forward, your feet, they lift from the floor. And when you shift forward, one really important thing is, we did this in downward facing dog, that you hug the elbows in. You hug the elbows in. So you shine the eyes of the elbow forward. You bend the elbow, and when you bend it, you still hug them in, hug them in, hug them in. So let's try it. I do it one more time, and then it's your turn, or you do it with me. Hands, you come to a toe stand, you really bring your arm, at the moment I do the crawl to the right, so you bring your right thigh and your left arm, upper arm together. You really twist, and then you start to shift forward, but you bring your hips over your elbows, and then slowly you shift forward and you fly. Isn't this cool? So you can stop me and you exercise a little bit on your own, and when you have enough, then you bring me back and we cool down. Okay. So I hope you were flying, and if not, you know, sometimes it happens with me, sometimes not. There's every day is different, and sometimes I only enjoy to play and laugh about myself, and sometimes you see the progress you make, and yeah, and only enjoy it and don't take it too serious. But I thought, we are so often on our legs, and we do so many things on our legs. Why shouldn't we sometimes do something on our hands? Okay, let's we did a lot of twists, what is good for the body and for the spine anyway. So nevertheless, I think we should do a few hip openers, and this is what we would at least do one hip opener, and sit in Baddha Konasana. Because what we can do in Baddha Konasana, when we bring our soles of the feet together and wing our knees outside, and with a straight or extended spine, we can start to hinge forward at the hips, and bring our hands to our feet and give our feet a nice massage. This might, you know, at the first time when I did this, I found a little bit strange to give myself a nice massage, but it's so nice when I dig my thumbs into the soles of my feet. See if you love it as much as I do, and really try to give yourself a little bit self-love. So really work into that, and while you do that, you hardly recognize that you still sit in Baddha Konasana, and you still are opening your hips, and you might come a little bit more forward as if you want to kiss your feet. Doesn't work with me, not yet. There's definitely one goal of mine sooner or later, to be able to kiss my feet. Okay. And when you're done with that, bring your shin, the right shin, parallel to the front of your mat, and stack the left shin over the right one. And this is, we call it double pigeon, and you see my hips are not very open, so I have pretty good gap, but I don't mind it. You can stay here, or you slowly start to bend forward at your hips. Really try to flex your feet, no lazy feet here. When this is too intense for you, and it is intense for me, then you can do it first on one leg and then on the other. So see what is nice for you, or you go supine and go for figure 4. So we stay there for 2 breaths. And try to relax into the pose. One more inhale. And exhale. Slowly come out. We change it. First we have the left, now we have the left shin parallel to I have it to the long side, you can have it to the short side of the mat, and then my right shin just stacked over each other in double pigeon, and start to move forward with the exhale. You see how here the side of my hip is a little bit better. My legs come a little bit closer to each other. But whatever is, we accept that. And start to have a deep inhale. And exhale. Another deep inhale. And exhale. And slowly come out of the pose. We did a lot of tabletop positions, so now let's reverse the tabletop. So we lift our hips, our fingers point towards our heels, and really try to lift up. Oh gosh, and sink down again. We go for one more. Inhale, slowly peel your pelvis up and press away from the floor. Your heels move towards your hands. Your hands push towards your heels. And you go down again. And next thing we do, let's go back on the supine. Hug your right leg in. Extend your left leg forward. And bring the right knee over to the left side. In a nice twist, you can extend your arms out wide to a T shape, or like I do, my left hand is lying on my right knee to bring a little bit more weight on it. I can relax a little bit better when my hand supports my knee. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. With the next inhale, come back to the midline. Hug the left knee in, extend the right leg. On an exhale, the left knee moves to the right, and you can extend the arms wide to a T shape. Try to keep the shoulders on the floor. As an option, you can hold your knee with your right arm, with your right hand. Deep inhale and exhale. On the next inhale, roll back on your back. Bring the right knee up, and your feet feet towards, or the soles of your feet towards the ceiling, Balasana, happy baby, Ananda Balasana. And really try to bring the knees towards the armpits and have your tailbone long on the mat. So don't bring the tailbone up. Try really to lengthen the tailbone down towards the mat and the knees towards your armpits. You can grab your feet or you can grab your shins, whatever feels good for you. And you push your feet into your hands and your hands pull the shoulders back on the mat. So there is a little bit of a tug and war, not too extreme because we are at the end of the practice, but try not to have a lazy, happy baby, but there is still a little bit of muscle engagement. Okay, then slowly bring your legs to a tabletop position. Your right thigh over the left thigh, or we do it differently. Your right ankle over the left thigh, and we come back to a figure 4. And really you hug your leg in and you you hug the left leg in and you press the right leg out away from your body. Your feet are flexed. Deep inhale and full exhale. On your next exhale, bring the situation to the left side. So your right foot touches the left side and your gaze follows your right arm, what is stretched out in a T shape. With the next inhale, unwind the situation and change the legs. The right ankle cross goes on the right thigh. You can hug your hands behind your right thigh and you bring your right thigh towards your chest and the left knee away from your chest. And really engage your feet. They are flexed. One more breath. One big inhale. And on the exhale, you bring the left foot to the right side and stretch out your hands wide. Your gaze can follow the left hand. Take deep inhales and exhales. And on your next inhale, come back on your back. Stretch your feet out wide. Your hand a little bit away from your body. Your palms shine up. Work your shoulders under. We go and relax in Shavasana. You slowly bring a little bit movement in your fingers and your toes. You can move the back of your head to the right and to the left when it feels good for you. Have a long inhale and a full exhale. You might want to stretch yourself and yawn. And slowly, really slowly, you can come to the side in a fetal position. And from the fetal position, you slowly come in a seated position. Cross-legged, or you might want to sit on your heels, whatever feels more comfortable for you. Let's bring the hands to our heart center. I thank you for the practice, that I could lead you and work with you together on the lower back, the legs and the feet, and perhaps change your perspective a little bit with a small arm balance, hand balance. Inhale collectively together and exhale, and we bow together and thank ourselves for the time. Have a nice day, and hope to see you soon. Bye.